My name is David. I'm with SanTan Solar. Welcome and thanks for tuning in. I want to talk about one of the products that we have in our inventory now, and it is a great item. Some of you may have heard of this one. It is from EcoFlow. It is called the Delta Pro. This is a power generator. It's a 3600 watt, 48 volt power generator. It's got lithium iron phosphate batteries built into it. It has its own BMS, and it has its own inverters and what have you. So this is an all-in-one power unit. That means that it's capable of outputting anything from 120 volts to a voltage that's required for like an RC. It does have several ports, as you can see in the front, and we'll be demonstrating those in just a little bit. This thing is capable of being charged up with a home. You can charge it up on a regular receptacle in your house, 120. And it is fast charging, so it does have a fast charging capability. If you ever need to recharge this at home, you can plug this into your wall, and in about a little over 2 hours, it'll be fully charged on the fast charging method. Now, it does have a controller on the back that allows you to do just standard charging or fast charging, just depending on the receptacle you're putting it into. Also, it comes with a car charger. So if you're out and about in your truck or your vehicle and you have this with you, you take it camping, or you're taking it to your campsite and you want to go ahead and use it at your tiny home or your log cabin or what have you, this is a great option for that. You can charge it on the way with your car. So this will also plug into your car receptacle, your 12 volt car receptacle, and then you can plug it in to the back here where it's going to have the inputs for charging, and then you can charge this up as well. There is a kit you can also get that'll give you capability of charging this at an EV station. So if you're driving and you're at a station, you want to get this charged up, EV stations have a connection. You can buy the optional kit for that as well. Also, you can charge this using solar panels. That's our biggest draw that we have right now with these, is that you can buy this cable from them, from EcoFlow, or you can go on Amazon. Amazon does have the same type cable. It has MC4 connectors, and it has the connection used for the EcoFlows. That'll be on the back. On the back, you just go ahead and connect this to your panels. Now the panels can only go up to like 1600 watts. You've got 1600 watts of panel. That means it's 150 volts maximum, and about 15 amps maximum is the limit this can take input. So it doesn't take a lot of panels to get this going and keep the battery topped off. It's also another great way of small portability that you can, you can use folding out panels if you wish, small 100 watt panels. You can use several of the 250s together, and it'll be a great little setup. Also, it's quite portable. It'll be small enough, and this thing does last forever. I mean, this thing here, we ran it on our mini splits, refrigerators, and what have you, and it just kept chugging along all day. This is a great item for that. So when it comes to charging this up or using it on a mobile matter, like say you have a schoolie, you have an RV, you got a camping trailer, log cabin, what have you, this will fit nicely in here. It weighs about 100 pounds, but because it has two nice handles for helping you lift this if you need to. Also in front, you also have a luggage pull. So this thing does have a luggage pull in front. You probably can't see it on camera, but it does pull out, and it's just like a suitcase on wheels. It's a really great item to have, and it makes it much easier to tote. So if you have problems toting it around the campsite or in your mini cabin or what have you, this is a great option for that. It does last quite some time, so it does come with an app you can get. Just download it to your phone. It's also Bluetooth capable, so that you can always monitor what's going on with this as the day goes on without having to look at the front screen. The front screen itself is quite intuitive. It does tell you quite what you need on it, and we'll be demonstrating this. As you can see, there are about 4 ports already on the front. These are 120 volt outputs, so this is all your AC output that's going to be showing up right here. These ports are going to be your USB and USB-C ports. Here we have a 30 amp, it's like for RVs. It has that 3-prong large, like a NEMA, I guess what they call it that. It's a 3-prong plug that plugs into it, great for RVs. Here we have 120 volts here, and they're about 20 amps max out of these, so you can use that. We use it all the time for like our mini split. Here we have 2 USB-Cs. You have 4 USB regulars. 2 of them are just regular standard voltage. Here we have fast charging here. like I've said, we've been running in our air-cooled mini splits on this, and because the mini splits themselves are quite usable in the fact that they only use like 200 plus watts of power. So that means that this thing can run it all day. We had it on there and it ran pretty much all day from the morning till almost closing time at 5. So we were running it for about 12 hours, approximately around there. So we were running it for quite some time and it only used it up about just a little over 50%. So that was pretty good. And it ran the mini split quite well without a hitch. Also, we would like to try out plugging into the many utilities that you can use with this as well. Show you the capabilities of the panels that you can connect to this. It does have several ports in the back, which we'll be showing you here in just a moment. Here's where I want to show you the front panel. This is where a lot of the controls are going to be and for usage on your EcoFlow Delta Pro. It's kind of unique in the sense that you can turn the AC power on or off. Once this is on, it'll tell you that the 60 hertz, 120 volts are running. You get 4 receptacles, as I said earlier. Each one is about 20 amps each maximum. So that means that some appliances you can run, but remember that it's a 120, when you got 4, only 20 max amps are on this. The screen here will tell you what you need. It'll tell you if you're on Bluetooth, which is what I have, and I'll be demonstrating that sometime later. And you'll be able to see how that works. It tells you how many days of power you have. It's batteries right now at 100%. As the usage goes, you will see the input, you will see output, watts, and more watts from the output and input. So it'll keep track of things pretty well, and the software that comes with it is also very intuitive, and it's also quite smooth. I was very impressed with how well the connectivity is with this, and it's quite accurate. So there's very little lag that happens between the app and what this is telling you. Again, you also have a 30 amp max 3-prong. This is great for like RVs, so that use this kind of a plug. You have your USB ports. Again, you can turn, these will automatically come on when you turn on the unit. These, as I said earlier, turning the AC on and off is quite a great feature, so that if something's up and you need to make a AC disconnect, this will do it. Your 2 USB-C ports are available. You also have, like I said earlier, you have 4 USB-A ports. The 2 ones with the blue tabs are the ones that are the fast charging ones. So if you have units or devices that can utilize the fast charging, this is where you will use it. These are just standard. So anything that's standard, telephone, battery chargers, little tiny batteries that you want to charge up, anything like that, radios, what have you, that need charging, that's just a standard outlet. These will take care of that. Now I'm going to show you what's on the back of the unit, that is. First of all, you do have your standard 120, 240 volt AC, 15 amp max inlet. That's where you use their cord. Now this is a proprietary cord, and they recommend that you use their cord and not just some standard one that you can find elsewhere. Also right here is where you do the connecting to the unit using either the charger, that's the car charger. Here we have the solar ones with the 2 MC4 connectors to attach to your array. And there's the connector for that. You have your breaker switch. This is the trip. This is like a GFI that's going to be on the back of this. Also, you'll have these 2 odd ports. These 2 odd ports are, of course, if you want to hook up something like the extra batteries. Now, EcoFlow does make batteries for this, just the battery packs. You can put 2 battery packs to this and expand the capacity of this to quite a bit. Also, if you want to use 2 EcoFlows, you can do that. There's a special hub that you can get that will allow 2 EcoFlows to work simultaneously, giving enough capacity and power to whatever you have. These can be used for home emergencies, for power. There are special optional devices you can get. There's a smart device and the smart panels that you can get, and you can attach those to your house, in which these will then be able to power certain loads in your house should you require it. Just like you would if you were using another solar or generator system that is used for emergency purposes in your home. This is a great standard for that. It's very modular. It allows expandability. So if you can invest in one of these and you invest in some more, they're quite well built. They are really strong. They're made out of some durable ABS plastic, which is really thick. Also, that the fact that they're very portable and that a lot of the components for them, such as like your chargers and stuff, these are pretty common ports you can find elsewhere without having to go, shopping around at EcoFlow itself. And you can, like this particular one that I've mentioned earlier, this is for your arrays, solar arrays. This was from EcoFlow itself, but I understand you can also get these on Amazon. It's a generic form of this, and it has the same kind of connector as well as the MC4 connectors. And again, as long as you stay within the limits of the panels, which I said is like 1600 watt of panel it will take. That means you can use about 6 250 watt panels, or 4 390 watt panels, or you can use 3 410 watt panels. That's not too bad. So 410 watt panels, you get 3 of those together, and you put them in, probably you would want to use them in the series or parallel. However you do, just make sure you stay within that 150 voltage. You want to be under it when you're using this. Also, it's got about a 15 amp max, so you don't want to put more than 15 amps through this. And that's what it states right here. If you don't know, you can always look to this and it will tell you from 11 to 150 volts DC, 15 amp max. That means you can use as little as 11 volts to get this going for charging, or you can go as high as up to 150. I'd always recommend being just a little bit under that, just so we don't wear out the unit faster than you want it. That'll also be a great asset when you're trying to use this on your solar panels that you've acquired. So just as long as you stay within that. Again, there's a switch back here to allow you to go fast or slow. This is for charging the unit itself. If you were to plug this in using their proprietary cable, which actually looks like any standard 120 AC cable, but I believe that the reason why they want to use this is because this is capable of handling the amperage that goes in with the fast charging. So if you do use a standard cable, I would imagine you'd have to go to the slow charging from your receptacle in your house. So that's what I would do, just in case. And as I said, these 2 ports are for the additional devices from EcoFlow. If you wish to put them in, you can put them connecting with this with their little proprietary plugs. It's a great option. And also just to mention that there are several other ports that are on the EcoFlow. These ports are used for, like, say, your AC charging that you have for like this one. You'll need to have it plugged in. So you have this panel over here that when it opens up, you have an Anderson port right here. So if you have anything that has an Anderson connector, this is where you'll put it. Here is going to be your 12 volt, 10 amp max, and that's going to be for this kind of unit right here. This is for what you're going to be putting in for. This is what this will take. It comes with a cable for, it looks like it powers certain things like some like radios and what have you that use a special pins like this. And you can turn it off and on as you need for just these ports. These are 12 volt. These are 3 amp max, so that means that they're good for charging up radios, 2-way radios that is, other devices that require it, scanners, what have you, will use this kind of a port. You'll also have a remote capabilities. You'll have the pairing and reset. This is how you can get all your standby and remotes going in. You can have a remote. This does have Bluetooth capable and it is Wi-Fi capable. And I'll be demonstrating that app in just a little bit, and I'll show you how well it works. And it's very adaptable. This is a really cool app. And that's what these ports are rated for. The down here is the Infinity port. Now that's a proprietary port for EcoFlow, and this will allow you to connect certain of their devices and whatnot, and to have this thing daisy chain and to be used in the household powers if you need to connect various devices of their own from the company of EcoFlow. They do have devices that will work with this, and that's for the expandability of this unit. Now, I talked about using the EcoFlow's app that we have here. It's a really nice app. As you can see, it gives you your state of charge, available time, the degrees of what the temperature, and your charge level, your discharge level. Over here, it has your output of what you'll be putting out in watts. Once you start charging, you can also show what it is putting in. The beauty of this machine is that you can turn on certain parts of it. Like right now, X Boost, I can turn that on, and that'll come on. You can turn certain parts off, like your DCs are now been shut off. That will be these guys on this side. This unit can also turn on your DC powers, just like it has over here. So if I just turn it on, and you can turn it off and on, there's go. This one goes like that, there you go. You can see that now the 12 volt array here is now running. You can see I can turn on the AC part of this just by turning on AC output. Let me see if I can get that going. There you go. Now these are on and usable. Like I said, it's like a AC disconnect switch, but you can also run it remotely from your phone. So I have here on my Samsung S10e, it seems to roll very well. And like I said, as it's running, you'll be able to tell what's going on. And this is really nice to see. It just gives you a peace of mind that you can be checking on this thing at any time. Right here, we're showing that the EcoFlow Delta Pro is now powering the Airspool mini split air conditioning unit. The Airspool mini split is a great unit in that it doesn't give much of a wattage output or a strain on your electrical systems, in that it can only pull up to, like, say, 270 watts max. Usually it hovers around 200 watt range when it's running. This unit here can power this for at least 20 to almost 23 hours. Right now we've been running it for a little bit, so the EcoFlow was showing that it has about 20 hours of time to run on this. So we'll get a little closer and take a look at the specs. As you can see, the EcoFlow that's running the this Airspool mini split air conditioner unit. As you can see right now, it's just running the fans. So we're just looking at about we're saying about 22 watts output. So that's not too bad. When the compressor comes on, that's going to jump to somewhere around 200, and then it'll level off to maybe 150 or so. It does do a variable, so this AC unit will just go ahead and vary itself depending on its loads that it receives. But the EcoFlow here is more than capable of handling that. It says here it can beat about 2 days worth of power running this at this current wattage, which means that the fans will run, the compressor will kick on, and it can still run it for quite some time. Right now, the EcoFlow I brought out to our area where we have some heavier appliances, and people really want to know, because when people have like RVs or campers and they have like full-size appliances, they always want to know if this is capable of running that. As you can see, that this EcoFlow is now running a standard refrigerator, just standard size. As you can see, it's running as a fridge. Powering it up. Ah, nice cold air. Very nice. Well done. So yeah, this is capable of running your fridge. You can run it for, you get at least a 20-hour time frame for this to run. So if you have some panels running, or you have extra batteries for this, this can run it for quite some time. And as you charge it up, you could use like I said, you can use on the road. If you have EV chargers, it can be done with that as well. It can be done off of the DC 12-volt car connection, so that you can keep this topped off, as well as any panels that are within the 1600 watt, 150 volt, 15 amps. That's all you need, and that'll keep this unit charged up and ready to go. And we had some questions about whether our new line of product, the EcoFlow Delta Pro, one of the main questions was, is it powerful enough? Does it supply enough power to run things like a microwave or a coffee machine? These are pretty rudimentary devices that most people will have in their RV or their campsite, or in their small homes, or in their home for that matter, for backup. And sometimes people would want to make sure that they at least have something to heat up and cook food, and also for heating up water. And of course, doing so, these are big draw items. They draw a lot of amps, and they do draw because they're heating elements, and they have like a magnetron in this one, so it does put out quite a bit of wattage. When you start the coffee pot, the heating element will start up. It will then go ahead and make a lot of wattage grow here, like a 1400 watts. Once it settles down and the carafe is ready to go, it settles down to almost zero. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and test this. We're going to open this up. It's going to start wanting to see for water. As you can see, it's heating up the water. Our wattage goes up. The fans kick on. It's all set. I'm going to set it for a cup. As you can see, it's now going to start pouring that. This will only heat up when there's water in the heat tank, and then it fills it up. As you can see, there's no wattage here, and it will fill it up just fine. As you can see, it's now replacing the water and heating up the carafe as it goes, jumping up to like 14, 13 watts. And as you can see, it dies off. So it doesn't go on constantly, it goes on and off. As you can see, once it's done heating the water, the watts drop down to almost nothing here, as you can see. There's so little wattage now. The only thing that's running now is just the on button that controls the little board inside. Now for the microwave, we can go like, let's do a 30-second, and then we'll go ahead. As you can see, it's now heating up the water in the reservoir again. And at that time, we're also going to run the microwave. We'll see what happens. Now the microwave is set for 30 seconds. So if it's a constant feed or constant pull, you'll notice that right now we're at 1,450 watts total. What's going on here? And as you can see, it can run both items. Let's go ahead and let's do that. Let's go add another seconds to it. Let's see how it can go for both at the same time. It's going to heat up the water in the reservoir. This is going for at least another 30 seconds to heat up the water that's in a cup that we have inside. And as you can see, it can run both high-end machines. This is about a 1,300 watt device, and this one here is about a 1,200 watt device. You can run them both. It jumps up to almost 3,000 watts, but then it settles down to about 14.4. And as the items finish their job within the time allowed, you'll notice it just drops right down to zero. Now remember, this machine is a 3,600 watt machine. This means it can power up things of that much wattage. Now, albeit that it won't be good for running these devices plus other devices at the same time. That might be a little bit heavy draw on this. But coffee makers and microwaves are a very common appliance that people use. And this would be a great way to keep them running should in the event that you have no power or you're on a grid. You're off grid and you're in a small cabin or a campsite, be able to run your household appliances. Now, most people who are going to be off grid or living on RVs and stuff, their items will probably be of less wattage. So this will be able to handle even that plus more. But for regular household full power items, it'll work just fine. So in conclusion, I just want to let you know, I'm really glad that we have these. We've been getting a lot of requests about these and see if we carry them. I'm glad that we're carrying the Delta Pros. That seems to be the most popular of those because of its size. Now they do make other units that EcoFlow makes. One is the Delta, which is a smaller 2,000 watt series power station as this one is. It's a much smaller unit, a little more compact, and they do have a lot of good capabilities, just as much as this. This one here is the most popular one that we've come across, in that a lot of people that want to use these are going to be using them for like emergency purposes, a lot of off-grid, those who are wanting to make sure that they have enough power for their campers, RV campers, campsites, their little cabins away from the grid, just to have emergency backup at the home, just so that you have appliances that you don't want to have down. This is a great option for that as well. I want to say thanks for viewing this video, and we hope to see you soon. Just remember, SanTan Solar is your one-stop shop for all your solar needs.